Hello everybody, the Great Dino Ranger here again, back with another review. Today we're going to take a look at the Jurassic World Rebirth Frenzy Pack Beipiaosaurus. I believe that's how you pronounce that one. I recognize this dinosaur just by the name, but I never really knew how to pronounce it, so I'm hoping I'm pronouncing it right, the Beipiaosaurus. This is another therizinosaur, so it's awesome. We finally have another therizinosaur from Mattel. Finally, the Therizinosaurus can no longer be alone and has another member of its family to join it. And it's really cool. I really like the look of this one. You can definitely tell it's a Therizinosaur because of the claws, but also in real life, it is a smaller type of Therizinosaur. But this one's really nice. We're obviously taking a break from survival and moving on to Rebirth, at least for this figure. Yeah, I'm really liking the look of this one. As I told you in the birthday haul video, I got this one at Ross for a pretty good price. And packaging wise, it's your standard Rebirth packaging for the Frenzy packs. We got the title right there, Frenzy Pack Beipiaosaurus, the background with the cool sunset, jungle background, Jurassic World Rebirth logo, the blacks and the reds really stand out. And then here on the back, it just shows you the others in the lineup for this second wave of the Rebirth Frenzy packs. I'm still missing the Suoptra, or however you pronounce it, but this pterosaur, still on the lookout for that one. It's the last one I need for the Rebirth Frenzy packs. But you got the logo right there and the others in the lineup. We're already looking at the Beipiaosaurus, and we've already done reviews of the Archaeornithomimus and the Mincaria. Beipiaosaurus, facts up information, and a bunch of other stuff on the bottom. But yeah, that's basically it for the packaging. Let's go ahead and take a closer look at this cool dinosaur. Alrighty, so here we have the Beipiaosaurus out of the box. And this one, for being one that I've been wanting since last year, this one looks amazing. I really do love the way this one looks. I think Mattel captured the look of what this dinosaur is supposed to be very nicely, in my opinion. Is it accurate? No, but I think Mattel captured the look of it very nicely while adding it, while giving it like a Jurassic Park kind of twist to it. Like, for example, Beipiaosaurus is a small therizinosaur, you know, from China during the Cretaceous. And yeah, I mean, this is pretty much all it is. This is a smaller therizinosaur. I think Mattel did that very nicely. Though, of course, this looks more like a baby therizinosaurus, which is, you know, what you could do. You could just take it and repaint it and look like a baby therizinosaurus, since we already have one from Mattel, which is really cool. And again, you know, Mattel captured the look of it being a smaller therizinosaur species, but the way they did some of the design choices, like the head and everything, it really makes it look like it belongs in the same group as the Jurassic Park Therizinosaurus. So that is really cool because Mattel's kind of keeping it consistent while having it be a brand new species, if that makes sense, because it looks like the Jurassic World Dominion Therizinosaurus head, which is really cool. So the head sculpt may not be entirely accurate, but it still looks cool regardless. So yeah, let's take a close look at the detail here, starting off with the head. The head looks really cool. Like I said, it looks like the Jurassic World Dominion Therizinosaurus. You see the little beak, well sculpted here at the top and the bottom of the skull right here. Got the little nostrils that are actually on the beak instead of behind it. Got some little creases in the skull to kind of show where some of the holes in the skull are. The eyes look really nice as well. I like this little crest area that we have on the top, which looks really cool. And then we got nice little scaling along the rest of the head as well. Very tiny scales, but again, Mattel did a really nice job on that. You got a little bit of some feathers here on the side of the jaw, and you got some here on the bottom of the jaw right here, kind of giving it kind of like a feathers on the throat area, kind of like modern birds, or some of them, which look really cool. And as we open the mouth, you can see it's got sharp looking teeth, which obviously these guys are not carnivorous. They'd be herbivorous, at least that's what we think based on other members. So the teeth, again, are probably just a callback to the Jurassic World Dominion Therizinosaurus, but I think the teeth probably would be a bit more back here, not really along the beak itself. But, you know, it is what it is. It's not the worst thing in the world. The tongue looks nicely sculpted. Nice little amount of detail on the gum flaps right there. But yeah, I like how sharp the teeth look too. So Mattel's been doing a really good job with the sculpted teeth. Moving on to the neck, you got a really nice amount of feathering here at the top of the head and goes all the way down pretty much through the top of the rest of the neck, at least on the top side. So nice, kind of like really messy, wavy looking texture of the feathers there on the neck, which look really cool. Give it kind of like a cool little texture look. You got some little bumps of like little spikes or maybe osteoderms or whatever going along the top part of the neck, which is really nice. And I like to see that on top of feathers, which is kind of gives it like a really cool appearance. The feathers continue all the way down, but the underside of the neck is all just bare skin, so it's got like this lined texture. You got some more feathers here along the throat, and then it kind of disappears, and you get some more feathers here towards the base of the neck where it attaches to the body, which is really cool, and the rest is just all skin. But yeah, really cool detail here on the neck. And then here on the body, you got a really good amount of detail here. Like, look at all these little bumps, the scaling here on this figure, and they're not like molded into the, like, I don't know, I guess it has like a rough textured feeling, so they're sticking out of the sculpt itself. They're purposefully sculpted to kind of pop out a little bit. I'm not even sure if that makes sense, but you can just feel it when you rub your finger against it. The scaling just looks amazing on this one. Mattel did an excellent job with the scaling here on the side of the body, as well as here on the top. You can see it the same here on the other side, which looks good, and you can see more of those scales kind of continue on the neck just to make it feel consistent. I like the little muscle definitions in the body itself. Like, you see where the shoulder blade is and the ribs and some more muscles kind of poking through the skin itself, which look really nice. And the scaling just looks awesome on this one. So yeah, Mattel did an excellent job. Here on the bottom, on the underside, you got some little group of feathers here along the chest, which look really nice as well. And the entire underside is just covered in beautifully sculpted scales, which look really nice. And some little wrinkles in the skin itself, kind of like modern reptiles today. So I really do like how Mattel did that. I don't know how they get these sculpted tiny little scales in, but however they do it, it's awesome. So good job to you, Mattel, for the scaling work. And that continues all the way down to the tip of the tail. And you got some nice amount of wrinkles in the skin right here. These little folds, which look really cool too. So I really do like that. Moving on to the arms, nice and muscular arms. You can see the little muscles in there too. The scaling on the arms look really great as well. A bit more flatter, kind of more flattened against the skin instead of popping out like the ones here on the body. And then here we got the famous Therizinosaur hands, the three-fingered claws, nice little ridges on the fingers, and nice sharp-looking claws too. And they're kind of not really bendy, but it's kind of soft, not super soft, but they're not like sharp. Hence, they're also kind of rounded off. But again, even if they are rounded off, they still look pretty sharp, which is really cool, and gives off like the intimidating look that you want. And here's the arm on the other side, which look really good as well. The inside of the hands look really nice. I like the little detail that they have here. Some more nice scales here on the inside of the arms. And then here at the top, or the rest of the body, as it is scales here, it fades into feathers here on the back side, which look really good. Nice amount of detail on the lines inside each feather, which is really cool. And they kind of go all the way down just to the halfway down the tail. And then it disappears, and you got these nice row of little bumps, kind of like what you got on the neck right here for the rest of the tail. Actually, it doesn't even go down to the rest of the tail. It just goes down just this little part right here, but that looks really cool. Nice amount of scales all throughout the rest of the tail towards the top end, which look great as well. You got some more of these little bumps or osteoderms or large scales sticking up out of the body here along the top of the leg, which look really nice. Speaking of the leg, you got a really nice render of the leg right here. Mattel did an excellent job with the sculpt right here, especially with the muscle definition, just kind of giving it life and movement to it, which look really great. And the scales themselves are really well done. Look at how all of these are sculpted. Mattel did an excellent job with the scales on this one. Yeah, I love the way they're sculpted here on the leg. They look really cool. And you can get that all the way down basically to the foot itself. You can see a lot more here around the knee, around the calf area. Just really nice sculpt work along the foot. And you got a little bit more feathering here on the back side of the ankle right here, which looks really cool. And the feet as well look really nice as well. Nice amount of detail with the scales and nice little ridges along each toe. The claws look really good too, nice and sharp looking. Here's the underside of the feet, nice amount of detail. You got the fax code, and then here on the other side you got more detail and the T-Rex logo. You got the little dew claw that's sculpted right there, which looks really nice as well. Nice amount of scales on the inside. And here on the other side you got nice, it's the same thing, nice, sculpted scales, which look really nice. I really do enjoy this a lot. And you got some more of these little bumps, these little spikes or whatever here on the leg as well, so that's really cool. And yeah, sculpt work, this Beipiaosaurus is phenomenal. Mattel does a lot of work and detail in these smaller figures, and I gotta give them credit for that. That's really cool. Now I can already spot one inaccuracy, is that this Therizinosaur has one extra digit when it should be only 3 toes touching the ground. Actually, a lot of renders show that the dew claw would actually be touching the ground too, but since it already has a dew claw, it would only need 3 toes instead of 4. So obviously if there is some inaccuracy there shouldn't be an extra digit on the feet right here, but it is what it is. So yeah, sculpt work is awesome. In terms of colors, I really do like the colors. I like the combination of browns and reds. Kind of gives it kind of like a warm forest color. Like you can actually see this being in the forest, which is really nice. So yeah, I really do like the color choices. Obviously it could have been applied a bit better, because I like the little red that you got here at the top, and it fades into this dark brown for the rest of the body. You got a little bit more red here on the underside before it fades, but at the top it's, the brown kind of starts further. So there is like a difference between when the reds and the brown end and start. So that's kind of cool. Kind of gives it like a variation, I would say. But I like how it kind of blends or fades into both colors. And so fortunately there isn't any paint color for the claws, for the toes and the fingers. But oh well. The head, however, has a different brown color. It's like more of a lighter brown color because it's much lighter than the brown you got here. So that looks cool. It kind of makes it stand out, and it got a really nice yellowish green eye with a black slit for a pupil. So very similar to the Jurassic Dominion Therizinosaurus, which looks really cool. Kind of gives it cool, cool unique look. The inside of the mouth, you get the teeth that are painted in a beige color, and then the tongue and the gum flaps are in a fleshy, pinkish color. That's different than the red that we have here, so at least it makes it stand out. Unfortunately, there is no of that paint. Actually, there is paint on that on the roof, but I think it's just the same red paint that we have here. Yeah, that's pretty much it in terms of colors. Let's go ahead and take a look at articulation. Again, for a Frenzy Pack, it's very basic, but it really works for these dinosaurs. The jaw can open and close, which is really good. And then we got the neck joint right here that can make it go down about that far. So it doesn't really go down all that far. It would have been cool if it did. Can you make it look like it's drinking? But at least you can make it look like it's looking in a different direction. And then you can make it look up, like it's looking up at something, maybe to reach some plants. And then we have the arms, which move forward and backwards. And I think they can go 360. You just got to be careful. And then the hind legs, typical forward and backwards, though they are kind of stiff on mine, but it's just forward and backwards. I don't really think they can go 360. Like, see, I can't even push it all the way. But yeah, pretty typical for the hind legs. And then the tail can also swivel, but of course I never really use that. But yeah, that's basically it for articulation. So let's go ahead and take a look at some comparisons. Alrighty, so for comparisons, here we have the Beipiaosaurus next to a human figure. We got Dr. Henry Loomis again, and I think this scaling is really nice. I don't know if Beipiaosaurus is a bit smaller, but either way, it is a small Therizinosaur in general, so I think Mattel kind of captured the look of it very nicely when you compare both the human and this dinosaur together. So I think the scaling looks pretty good here. And last but not least, here we have the Beipiaosaurus compared with the only other member that we have in our collection so far is the massive Therizinosaurus. So here we have it, finally 2 Therizinosaurs in the Mattel collection. I'd like to see Mattel tackle a Nothronychus in the future, or maybe even another type of Therizinosaur. But yeah, either way, it's still nice to have two different Therizinosaurs in my collection. There's obviously a huge size difference between the massive Therizinosaurus and the small Beipiaosaurus, but they do look really cool together. They almost have a similar looking builds and all that, with the long claws and the longer necks and everything. But you can definitely see how this one could literally be a baby Therizinosaurus if you really wanted to. But yeah, these two look really great together, I would say. Alrighty, so that's about to wrap it up for this review, everyone. I hope you guys enjoyed it. For my final thoughts of this figure, I enjoy it. I love this one a lot. I love getting a new species to add to the collection. I mean, I recommend it if you're someone that likes to collect all the dinosaurs. But yeah, I think it's a really great figure, great sculpt. You know, really great sculpt actually with the scales, especially here on the leg and the body. Just really great. And I love the overall design. And the color choices as well. So yeah, the only nitpick I really have is just the extra digit on the foot, but other than that, it's a really solid figure in my opinion. So I'm really glad to have this one in my collection, and it's going to be well at home in my collection. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this review, everyone. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys again for the next video.